Hi Fox, how are you doing? In the third round of this little tournament in Bilbao, in which four players are playing nowadays, we saw probably the most spectacular and beautiful game so far in this little tournament. A really flashy one with some amazing combinations, and a game you wouldn't like to miss, I'm sure. It was played between Ruslan Ponomariov with white pieces and Francisco or Paco Vallejo, the Spaniard player, was playing with black pieces in the third round. Let's see what happened. We see a Sicilian as the opening, d6, normal lines for the open Sicilian, normal moves, knight f6, knight c3, and Vallejo chose the ever young and great a6 move, introducing the Najdorf variation. And white has a bunch of choices here to face the Najdorf. This is of course one of the most theoretical openings in the world. h3 is the little move Ponomariov plays, of course, a main move here, and really we're very trendy these days between GMs. e6 was played and g4. Here black has once again a bunch of options apart from what Vallejo played, which was bishop e7, as we'll see. There is the number of possibilities for him: b5, d5, knight c6, even h6, stopping g5. But black just plays bishop e7, developing a piece. So does white, bishop to g2. And now knight fd7, typical move I think in this position, controlling two important squares, dark squares in the center, assuming this pawn is going to go to g5 any moment, so kind of anticipating that attack. And here Ponomariov plays, which it seems it's the novelty of the game. Maybe he had prepared this especially for this game. He plays knight c to e2. One may think the idea of this move is try to get a kind of a Marosi bind with c4. Although you can also think that knowing how Vallejo sometimes gets in time trouble, this was just played to make him think and win some time. Knight c2, well, makes sense, not a bad move, of course. Now that the knight on f6 isn't attacking e4 anymore, well, the knight can go here to e2. Knight to c6, c3, and h5 was played. The game starts to heat up quickly. Black tries to kind of punish this slow development of white in the center and tries to open up lines on the king side. The white king side may be a little weak, so this diagonal, the rook could come active, etc. G takes, and Vallejo takes back immediately with the rook, which maybe is not the best move, but it's difficult to say why. I mean, if we're gonna see it right now in 3 or 4 moves that this is leading to a forced line which favors white, but maybe Vallejo just underestimated white's plan or activity. He takes on h5 back, maybe queen to c7 or queen to a5 was more accurate or more precise. Rook takes h5 was played, and now knight takes on c6, b takes, and the double attack with the strong move knight to d4, attacking both the c6 pawn and the rook on h5. And the forced line is following. The rook goes to c5 to defend c6, and Ponomariov sacrifices material with b4. Here, going to c4 was maybe better choice according to engines, and not take the pawn right away, but after bishop f1, the rook is kind of trapped, must be given away for the knight on d4. But okay, maybe this is not as bad as the line we're gonna see for black. I mean, all white's pieces are on their starting positions, so black may not be that worse. Vallejo took on c3, and now bishop b2. Maybe Paco underestimated this pawn sacrifice, I don't know. Ruslan Ponomariov sacrifices a pawn and gets initiative, gets development for it. Rook goes to c4, and fireworks coming here. Knight takes e6. Beautiful move, strong move. The knight cannot be taken, definitely. Let's see what happens if black takes. Well, this is a very forced line. Queen h5 check, and it's going to be ending very, very badly. For black, king f8, check for h8, king f7. White takes with a check on g7. Remember, the bishop is supporting the queen. King e8, g6 check, king f8, and now bishop to g7 check, forcing black king to g8, where it's going to fall into this mating nade. Bishop h6 check, king h8, and checkmate delivered on g7. Good game. So the knight cannot be taken definitely on e6, but instead Vallejo just develops the queen, gets away from the attack, queen to b6. But of course the knight, white is to move and the knight can take on g7 with check. That's what Ponomariov does. King f8 and white just castles. I mean, this should be already kind of a lost position for black. His king is very, very weak and he doesn't have even material to show for it. So really a really dim position for black. I mean, he doesn't have compensation. He doesn't have coordination or development to show for his very badly placed king. Knight e5 was tried here, well, cutting the communication here. The bishop is not defending g7 anymore. The bishop on c8 can play, but the knight goes to h5. Queen takes to b4, at least black takes pawn back. Rook b1, look at all white pieces, they're all active, they're all playing. Just this rook, whenever it goes to e1, it will be already all white pieces active and playing. So queen c5 was played here. Black doesn't want, of course, any discovery, taking on e5, for instance, losing on the spot. So king c5, queen c5, white plays king to h1, getting away from this diagonal, putting the king in a safer place. Knight to g6, knight to f6, and after rook b8, I mean, white is winning in many ways here. Ponomariov plays queen d2, making lots of sense, completing development, connecting rooks, targeting h6. It's very, very natural and strong move. But here had a more flashy move, a more beautiful one. It's a shame it wasn't played on the board. Bishop c1, of course, an engine move, was very beautiful. Well, taking on v1 is out of this world. This is checkmate of e1, so not very recommendable for black to take the rook on b1. But if rook takes c1, knight d7 could be played. Check, bishop takes, and now white takes on b8 with check, takes a rook, and after king g7 he takes on c1, and either way the queens are exchanged or not, white has the double exchange advantage of material on the board, so it is more than enough to win the game. I think the king's security is not that much of a factor anymore, but this is material advantage for white. So this was a beautiful move, this bishop c1 in this position, which Ponomariov didn't play. He plays queen d2, safer move. Now bishop took on f6, bishop takes back, rook to b5, rook bd1, just targeting d6. d5 was played, and now queen h6 check. This king is once again the big problem black has in this position, and the factor it's going to make Vallejo lose the game. King to e8 and opening more lines. E takes d5. Now the e file is open to hunt this king down. C takes, rook f e1 check. King goes to d7 and queen to g7. Look at all white pieces chasing this king around the board. Right now taking on f7 with check is the threat. Queen goes to f8. willing to exchange queens, defending f7, but I mean white has too much of good coordination, and black has too weak a king for this to be even. So bishop takes d5 was played. If queen takes, this coward checks, winning the house. So rook takes, after king to c7. White checks with the bishop on e5. I think, well, if knight takes, this must be already checkmate. If knight takes, queen takes, check. The king cannot go back to the d file, going to the b file. I can't see how black is being saved from checkmate there. So after bishop e5 check, king c6 was played by Vallejo, but just queen takes f8 here. Simple but effective, and black just resigned. The reason being that after knight takes f8, rook would go to d8, attacking two pieces at the same time, double attack, and white is winning even more material here, so no, doesn't make much sense to keep playing here. So beautiful comeback for Ruslan Ponomariov from Ukraine, former world champion, beating in a very nice fashionable way, very flashy and spectacular game in this third round in the Bilbao Masters final. Thanks for watching.